Welcome to the always magic, never boring SDF Union Berlin Highlights Show Christmas special, brought to you live from the Stadion an der Alten Försterei. Almost. To quote Noddy Holder, it's Christmas! Yes, it's the most wonderful time of the year when our players go out to charities spread across the city, when we come together as a family to sing in the stadium in a much copied, if never bettered, spectacle of love and glühwein, when grown men lose all their sense of fashion dignity, and when we remember the sinister undertones in Dean Martin's Baby, It's Cold Outside.
Und so sieht Erleichterung aus auf der Berliner Bank.
Even Stefan's already in the mood.
Ich verspreche allen, ich werde ein ruhiges und ein sehr friedliches Weihnachten verleben dürfen.
And yes, best of all, we get to start by looking back on a wonderful 2 weeks, starting with the men giving Leipzig such a stuffing, we've been sweeping up chestnuts from the away dressing room ever since. Stefan had of course been asked in the build-up about his strikers and if it was time to put his defenders up front, as if it was a simple choice between Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You and Half Man Half Biscuits All I Want for Christmas Is a Dukla Prague away kit, as if that's any choice at all. No, it was obvious, and they repaid his faith in spades. The men's team were wonderful against Leipzig. Dare I say they decaffeinated them. And the goals? Well, Ollie Burke started things off with this belter, cutting in onto his weaker foot and bending it into the top corner.
Abgelegt für Ollie Burke und der hat Übersicht und hat das feine Füßchen. Die alte Försterei eskaliert, weil der Schotte trifft.
Then after the guests had equalised, Christopher Trimmel whipped another one of those crosses in for Ilya Zanzar, putting it on a plate with all the trimmings.
Und so eine Flanke schlägst du nach so vielen Berufsjahren. Ilya Zanzar perfekt eingelaufen und er vollendet.
But as amazing as those moments were, the star on top of the tree, if you will, was when Tim Skarka ran through to score his first ever goal for Union.
Der rutscht durch für Ilic und der für Tim Skarke. Das ist der Sound der Entscheidung. Skarke mit dem Tor. Nach über 50 Pflichtspielen darf er sich zum ersten Mal Torschütze nennen.
What a pleasure that was. But think of the travelling fans, eh? Well, tonight, thank God it's them instead of you. Then came Eintracht at home, the women's bogey team. But having gone a goal down early, somehow holding on at 1-0 till the break, the women were reborn in the second half. Despite Eileen Campbell's penalty scuffing off the left-hand post, Samantha Steuerwald stepped up to get her first ever goal for Union.
Der Freistoß wird lang und länger und dann ist der Ball im Tor. 71. Minute, der Ausgleich. Samantha Steuerwald, ausgerechnet eine Defensivspielerin, hier die Torschützin zum 1:1.
Cue delirium in the stands. And yes, Eintracht took the lead again, but no, the Union are in, fought and refused to give up. And just when you thought it was done, music maestro.
Baby, it ain't over till it's over. So many years we tried to keep our love alive, but baby, it ain't over till it's over.
Yes, when Jenny hit Robin Knockard that penalty in on a rebound, well, to quote Roy Wooden, Wizard, she put a great big smile on somebody's face. It is that time of year after all. But things were just getting warmed up at that point because the biggest Saturday going was on the horizon, starting with the women's trip to Nuremberg, the first day of the second half of the season on the last day of the first half of the season, of course. And in front of a couple of hundred travelling Unioner, they put in another wonderful performance and set up by a combination of Sophie Weidauer's determination and a defender's stray Achilles heel, Eileen scored her deserved opener.
Union Berlin jetzt mit einer richtig starken Phase. Sah zunächst so aus, als würde Nürnberg das verteidigen können, aber mitnichten. Dann was passiert? 35. Minute. Die Führung durch Eileen Kempel.
Then, as the referee pointed to the spot, Heisey grabbed the ball to take the penalty to make it 2-0. No, Captain Fantastic was never going to miss this one. Never.
Lisa Heiseler, 38. Minute, also nur 3 Minuten nach der Führung. Die Ergebnisverdoppelung. Klasse geschossen, dieser Elfmeter von der Kapitänin. Ihr 4. Saisontor.
Though Anita Poloskova scored an, I must say, beautiful long-range strike in the second half, Nuremberg never really troubled Union after that, and it meant we leapfrogged them to end the year in 10th. The greatest year in the history of our women's team had been sealed perfectly. But that wasn't it, because while the second half was still going on in Nuremberg, the men were kicking off in Köln. All right, the game itself was a bit of a slog, and few would have grumbled about the points being shared. But one man was determined to round off the year with the biggest bow going, turning up like the ghost of Christmas present, a man who plays with a puppy dog Scamper, beloved by everyone. Jesus, his surname even translates as Shepherd, and what could be more Christmassy than that? He hadn't scored all year, and what better time than this, ladies and gentlemen, Andras Schäfer.
Ja, Juranovic eingewechselt für Trimmel. Und dann der Rebound. Schäfer, Gegentor Nummer 13 und Führung für Union. 90. plus 1. Schäfer mit einer schwierigen Saison.
It's been a hell of a year. So in tribute to our heroes on the pitch, after a vat of Rotkepschen, an unopened pack of walnuts, a fight with a family member and a snooze on the sofa, it's time for the most important Christmas tradition of all. Yes, it's the always magic, never boring Erste FC Union Berlin highlights show's favourite goals of 2025. At number 10, the first goal of the year. Jorba Vertessen's back heel over his head, then a first-time left-footed strike across the keeper and in. To score this in a friendly was like Vincent van Gogh painting the sunflowers only to hang them in the bog.
Illich, wenig später beteiligt bei der Balleroberung. Und jetzt Achtung, Jorba Vertessen, Masterclass, wundervoll. 97. Minute, der Ausgleich.
At number 9, the under-19s had been imperious all season, and we could have gone for almost any of the 44 goals they've scored, but this from Zadu Barry as he danced into the box, dropping his shoulder and finishing, was a beauty. And it's always better against your neighbours.
Diesmal über die rechte Seite. Klasse behauptet von Sado Barry und der Außenverteidiger schickt ihn hinein. Ein kraftvoller und filigraner Sololauf gleichermaßen.
At number 8, Tom Rotter brought it down, lifted it over his head and laid it off for Laszlo Benes, who put more swerve on his left-footed shot than Ronnie O'Sullivan in his pomp. He bent it around a bloody corner.
Roter. Benes! Benes! On the pitch for seconds. The big touch is the big goal.
At number 7, in a penalty shootout with their first ever Youngster Cup title on the line, Giuseppe Loricella stepped up to smash the winner into the top corner. Nervous? Never. It was the perfect penalty. Bloody hell.
Die Chance auf die Entscheidung, die Chance auf den Titel, voller Druck und der hebt ihn rein. Ein genialer Elfmeter für ein geniales Turnier.
At number 6, well, Heisey had scored one against Bochum, of course, last season, but few had fought as hard as Antonia Halverkamps over the last couple of months, and to score directly from a corner to take the lead against Wolfsburg, what a delight.
Dann eine Ecke. Antonia Halverkamps. Und der dreht und dreht und dreht sich und dann ist das Ding drin. Unglaublich. Dieses Tor von Antonia Halverkamps, die verdiente, hochverdiente Führung.
In at number 5, we'd signed this kid from Paderborn. Stuttgart was his first team debut. Ilya Zanzar just wanted to say hello. Bloody hell.
Und wieder Ansa. Und jetzt Achtung. Ansa! Ein Traumtor. Sein erstes in der Fußball-Bundesliga.
Number 4, probably the most important one of the bunch. Nuremberg had lost the day before and the title was in sight, but with the women having gone 2 up, suddenly Freiburg pulled level. That was until Judith Steinert and Corina Janesch came on. One cross from the left, the other headed it home. The rest is history.
Flanke nochmal in die Mitte und der Ball ist im Tor.
Number 3, Lisa Heisler, top scorer in the Zweite Liga, and we'd all seen the video of her as a little kid with the dream of just wanting to play in the Bundesliga. This was our first ever goal in it, and nobody deserved it more.
Lisa Heisler. Und die macht ihn. Das 1:0 für den ersten FC Union Berlin. Lisa Heisler vor der Partie als Unionsspielerin des Jahres geehrt worden. Ja, und sie macht nahtlos so weiter.
Number 2 is probably the best goal on the list. It was already 2-2 in the wildest first half the Bundesliga had ever seen. Then Leopold Querfeld let fly with this.
He's got to have a go. Oh, what a goal! That from a centre-back. Union Berlin lead again from nowhere.
And at number 1, the first goal to make me cry this year. The game against Gütersloh was already won, the title already sealed, but Sarah Abu Sabah had one final gift to give us all. What a way to say goodbye. What a way to end the best of days.
Da geht's nochmal auf die Reise für die Berlinerinnen und dann Sarah Abu Sabah. Die legt nochmal einen drauf. Das halbe Dutzend voll, 6:0 für den ersten FC Union Berlin.
And that is that. All that remains is to thank every single one of you for another astonishing year at this wonderful football club. It is the greatest privilege. Wishing you all the happiest of Christmases, the finest of New Years, and we'll see you in 26. Music Maestro.
So here